So today, we're going to dive into the really powerful, science-backed connection between nature and our mental health. We're going to start super small with something as simple as a single scent, and then zoom all the way out to how our cities are designed, uncovering how the natural world can be a huge ally in helping us heal.
I mean, really think about that. Could the key to feeling calmer be, literally, right under our noses? It sounds almost too simple, right? But as we're about to see, there's some pretty amazing science that says, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's start at the most intimate scale possible, a single scent. Our sense of smell, our olfactory system, it's unique. It's wired directly into the parts of our brain that handle emotion and memory. This makes it an incredibly powerful and often overlooked tool for shaping how we feel.
I just love this quote. It frames this scent not just as a pleasant smell, but as an active tool, a habit breaker, a crisis smoother. That really captures the idea that something like lavender can do more than just help us relax. It can actually interrupt a stress cycle and help us get back on solid ground.
Okay, but we've got to be super clear about something here. While aromatherapy can be incredibly helpful, it is a supportive practice. It works with, not instead of, professional medical and mental health care. Think of it as another tool in the toolbox for managing symptoms.
Right, so it's one thing to say, hey, this smell makes me feel calm, but what is actually going on inside our brains? Let's follow the path.
So here's the fascinating part. When you smell something, the signal doesn't go through the brain's main switchboard like our other senses do. Nope. Smell gets a VIP pass. It goes straight to the limbic system, the ancient emotional core of our brain. It's like a biological hotline that can trigger a memory or an emotion instantly, helping to pump the brakes on our stress response before we even have a chance to consciously think about it.
And here are some of the heavy hitters. Each one has a specific job. Lavender goes to work directly on that limbic system we just talked about. Rose can actually have a measurable effect on your breathing and blood pressure. And then you've got neroli, which helps your brain chemistry, boosting the good stuff like serotonin and lowering the stress hormone cortisol.
All right, so we've covered a single scent. Now let's pull back the lens a bit and look at the whole room around us. Because the design of our immediate environment, our homes, our offices, can either pile on the stress or actually become a tool for healing.
This is such a critical idea. Trauma-informed design. It's not just about making a space look pretty. It's a very conscious approach that recognizes our surroundings can have a real physical impact on us. It's about creating an environment that helps us feel safe, in control, and calm. And look at this. The proof is right here in the numbers. This was a study with patients recovering from surgery, and the simple act of putting plants in their hospital rooms had a huge, measurable impact. We're talking lower blood pressure and patients reporting less pain, less anxiety, and less fatigue. Think about that for a second. It's a non-invasive, inexpensive intervention with clear physical results.
So what does this mean for your space? Well, here are some super practical things you can do. Getting more natural light, keeping things uncluttered, bringing in some simple plants, using calming colors. These aren't just decorating tips. They are real, evidence-based strategies to make our spaces actively support our well-being. Okay, now we're stepping outside. We're moving from just passively being in a space with plants to actively engaging with nature in a garden. And this is where a whole new level of healing can start to take root.
This quote from Abi just says it all, doesn't it? A garden isn't just a collection of plants. It's a practice. It's a sanctuary. It's a place that allows someone to step out of the past and be fully in the present moment, which is, a huge goal in trauma recovery.
And, there's actually a formal practice for this. It's called horticultural therapy. The key thing here is that it's structured. A therapist uses gardening activities as a specific tool to help someone achieve their treatment goals. Things like feeling grounded, present, and safe.
And why does it work so well? Well, it hits on so many different levels. It's grounding because it engages all your senses. It physically reduces stress by calming your nervous system. And maybe most importantly, the act of nurturing a plant, of helping something grow, can help rebuild that sense of empowerment and control that trauma so often strips away.
All right, time for our final zoom out, the widest possible view. Because having access to nature isn't just a nice to have or a personal choice, it's actually a massive public health issue that affects all of us.
1.6 trillion pounds. Just let that sink in. That's the estimated cost of mental health conditions around the world every single year. The scale of this is just staggering, and it means we need big, accessible solutions.
And guess what? One of those big solutions is right outside our doors. The research is so clear on this. People who live in urban areas with more parks and green spaces consistently report less mental distress, less anxiety, and just a greater sense of well-being. It's like having a natural buffer against the stress of life.
And this part right here, this is the clincher. Studies have actually followed people who moved, and they found that moving to a greener part of a city leads to big improvements in mental health, and, this is key, those improvements last. This tells us it's not just that healthier people move to green areas. The green areas themselves seem to be making people healthier.
So we've gone on this huge journey from a tiny scent molecule to a plant in a room to a garden and all the way out to entire city parks. So what's the big picture here? What do we take away from all this?
The main takeaway is this. Nature isn't some magic cure, but it is an incredibly powerful partner. Whether it's the simple act of smelling some essential oil, putting a plant on your desk, or just taking a walk in a park, engaging with the natural world at any scale is a real, accessible, and science-backed way to support your mental health.
And so I'll leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some huge, life-changing thing. Maybe it's buying a little herb for your windowsill. Maybe it's taking 5 minutes on your lunch break to sit under a tree. Or just opening a window to listen. What's one small way you could partner with nature this week?